What is going on, everybody? Hello, good evening, and welcome to episode 30 of the Xbox Live Party Podcast UK. Hello, how's it all going? And all that fun stuff. Tonight, joining me, we have TheGinnaGaming. We have PlayStation 5 and Destiny 2 shill Boldman Gamer.
God save the king.
And we have a very special guest in Luke Steele. Hello, good evening, Luke.
Hello. Yes, very happy to be here.
We're very happy to have you here. We do not have Ash tonight. He's off washing his pubes. So it's just us. Should be a good one tonight. Before we get into all the fun stuff, what has everybody been playing this week? Ginny, you go first.
I've been playing some Proteus. That's a great little game, if I pronounced it right. It's that kind of Doom pixel art first-person shooter. I jumped into Deathloop, which is also a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. I think the time loop mechanics and the way it was sold to me from some of the reviews, I thought I wasn't going to enjoy it, but I'm actually quite enjoying that game. There was another two, but they escaped my mind, as usual. Oh, Moon Scars I'm playing as well. That game's fantastic. It reminds me a bit of Hollow Knight, but I couldn't really get into Hollow Knight, but I've really got into this. So it's like that, but not, if that makes sense.
I heard there was a massive game-breaking bug. That,
yeah. I managed to avoid it so far.
Nice.
But it literally just corrupts your save and means you can't finish the game. So
that's fun.
Yeah, keeping an eye out for that one as I go along. But no, it's a really good game. It's fun. It's hard, as all those like roguelike type games are. But it's not frustrating. You play some of them and you're like, well, I'm just getting my ass kicked now. It's not fun. Whereas this is more like Death's Door. I found really fun. Every time I died, I knew it was my fault I died, and I wanted to go back and do it again. And it's like that. So when you die in this game, it's your own fault for being shit. So it makes you want to go back and do better.
Fair dues.
I said there was a fourth, but I forget.
Oh, you've been playing Fortnite, ain't you? Again?
Well, a little bit now and then. I did. I jumped back on Halo to do the Entrenched, got the armors, and got back off. Yeah, that's about it, really.
Fair dues. Boldman Gamer.
I did play Paw Patrol today.
Played what?
Paw Patrol Racing.
Oh, don't let Ash know, whatever you do, Jesus.
Yeah,
I haven't heard the end of it.
Yeah, my 4-year-old's got the autopilot mode on, and she thinks it's the best thing ever. So.
Bless her. BmG, what have you been playing, you sexy beast?
Well, I'm still on the old Destiny train, but I've started a new character actually. I've actually created a Titan, kind of come off the Warlock, so I wasn't really getting anywhere, and I didn't realise how much they reworked the whole structure and the start of the game to introduce new players. It's actually more player friendly and tells you more of the story while you're playing than I thought. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. I just had a quick bash on it before coming on the show tonight, and I'm slowly making my way through Horizon Forbidden West. I kind of wanted to have Horizon done by now so I could crack on with God of War before God of War Ragnarok comes out, but make plans and they never come to light or work how I want them to. So I'm just still hooked on Destiny. You know, the superior live service FPS game on the planet. But yeah, that's pretty much all I'm playing at the moment between them two. Getting ready for Ragnarok.
Nice. Yeah, Ragnarok looks really good. Looks absolutely beautiful, that game.
Did you see the? Sorry, did you see what was the Nebellion on Twitter put up a post showing that Ragnarok's only 30 hours long to completion, and 3.5 hours of that is the story video cinematics. But then I think Corey Barlog's actually put a post on saying, "What the fuck's this shit?"
Yeah, right. So that's only a 25-hour campaign.
Well, that's what's been put on, but whether it is or not, to be honest, because I think God of War Ragnarok originally, they were going to split the game. It was going to be a trilogy, and then they decided to make it 2 games. I'm assuming there's probably a bit more to it than that. Someone's just seen something, whether that's true or not, and then run with it. But to be fair, about 30 hours, including cutscenes. To be fair, that's actually, I think that's quite on the mark, really, for God of War. Because then you're starting to stretch it and just shove things in for filler. If it's...
I don't know, man. 25 hours for $70 is quite expensive, I think. I even say
I like
25 quality hours, though.
Yeah, quality. I'm telling you, it cost double that for half an hour with some certain ladies in my town. So I think that's a fair price.
I think I saw someone mentioned it was 40 as well if you did everything, like all the ancillary stuff. So I think they were saying there's been a few different figures kind of going out there, but which one's right, I don't know. But 30 to 40 hours for everything sounds about right.
Yeah, and that'll be enough. I think that's perfectly enough, to be fair.
I don't think that's enough. Yeah, for me, if it's a single player game, for me, I want a good 60 hours, 60, 70 hours. I think that's the comfortable sweet spot for me. Any more than that, it gets a bit tedious.
I think I'm the opposite, actually.
Really?
Like the shorter, the better.
Yeah,
like, I mean, not too short. I don't want The Order or Rise or some, where it's like 5 hours, 6 hours. But if it's like around, like my sweet spot's like 10 to 15 hours, that's perfect.
That's fair.
Like if it's really good, I'll pay full price.
Yeah, I like about 70 hours for a single player with no multiplayer. I think that's perfect because it gives you a reason to keep going back to it. I don't like games where you just complete it and then bin it off.
Again, opposite. Like just like moving on. Like I tried to do Valhalla. And I got like 30 hours in, and I was like, "There's still fucking like 40 hours left of the campaign. Like, there's no way I'm gonna finish it."
Don't get me fucking started on Valhalla. My God, fucking 225 hours I got into that game now.
Yeah,
and I still haven't done the latest DLC, and I still haven't done the final chapter, which is coming out next year.
It's just too much. It just rams so much filler into it. It's like
it's unnecessarily too much.
Drag it out, just give us the story. Tell us the story you want to tell. Let's just play through it, be done with it, and move on to the next thing.
That's the biggest problem with Ubisoft games, though, isn't it? They add a lot of collectibles and a lot of side missions to mask the fact that the main story is not that long at all, and so you end up spending all your time running around collecting collectibles and doing side missions and all that shit.
I don't, because I'm not a completionist or an achievement whore.
Well, you're no fun.
Me too. Yeah.
I don't know. Luke, what have you been playing this week?
I don't actually be playing that much. I've been going back to Forza Horizon 5, actually. I've been playing the Hot Wheels DLC.
It's good, isn't it?
Which is awesome. Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. It's also just I really just like going back to that game sometimes as well, because I just like to look at it. Like visually, I just think it's like really incredible.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that. Also, I realized I hadn't got into the Hall of Fame. I had like one thing left to do, so I did that, and then that got me onto Hot Wheels. So I did that. I've been playing that Splatoon 3 as well, which I love because I'm a big Splatoon fan anyway. And apart from that, not much else really. But I've been waiting for today because as we discussed, Overwatch 2 is now out, and I put, I don't know, probably about 1,200 hours into the first game.
Nice.
So yeah, and I'm not a multiplayer fan either generally, but I just love.
I'm like
Overwatch,
that. I struggle. I used to love being competitive and playing first person's competitive, and as I've gotten older and my reflexes have started to diminish, and my vision's greatly diminished, I just don't have that reaction times now, so I always get put off by online multiplayer games. But I did love Overwatch because I love anything where you have to actually work as a team.
Yeah.
Is it free to play, this one?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it
Battle
launched
Pass, loot boxes galore.
Yeah, pretty much.
No loot boxes.
Oh, is it not?
No.
Battle Pass. No, yeah. So the first game had loot boxes, but it didn't have a Battle Pass. They've now scrapped the loot box stuff and just kind of made it like other games, other free-to-play shooter games.
That sounds great, because I thought the loot boxes ruined the first one.
It's kind of either or, because now, like with the loot boxes in the first one, you could just play and get lots of loot boxes and unlock a load of stuff. And
Yeah.
obviously, it was a bit of a not a gamble because you were just unlocking them, but it was RNG as to whether you got something good.
Yeah.
Whereas on this one now, it's great that they're not there, but that means that outside of the battle pass, it's you're purchasing skins which are a legendary Overwatch skins like 15 quid.
I was reading about that. There's a lot of uproar about some of the legendary skins costing $20.
Yeah,
That's obscene, isn't it? It's just too much.
Yeah, well, all of the legendary skins from the first game, obviously, if you've played them and unlocked them, you carry them over. But for everybody else, you've got to pay it's literally like 20 quid.
To be fair, it was that expensive on Smite as well. If you wanted like the really top tier skins, you're looking at a good 25 quid in gems just to buy them. It's ridiculous, but it works. People buy that shit.
It does. Yeah, the one good thing about I think the Overwatch 2 is their battle pass is actually really good. So if you compare it to Apex, Halo especially, my God, Halo's is atrocious. But if you compare it to most of the big games, you're actually getting some really good stuff, including the new Mythic skins, which are like the highest tier skins in the game now. So it does look pretty good, but we'll see.
I'm going to check it out for sure because I really enjoyed the first one.
But you have to play as a team. You have to work as a team or is it kind of like most games where no one talks on a headset and they just piss off?
You have to communicate. I mean, you can in theory not communicate, but it's really team orientated.
Yeah, you got a tank and a healer and damage dealers and stuff. If you don't set your team up, you just get trounced pretty much. At least you used to.
I might have a look.
Do it, man. We'll play some games. Thimber's going to be downloading it as well. Maybe we can get Thimber in for a game or two.
I'm just having a look. I thought while we're on, let's have a look on. Overwatch 2. What's the size of it? Is it quite a big, hefty file size?
50 gig, I think.
Oof. That'll take about half hour to download.
Yeah, it might take half an hour for you. That's like a day and a half for me.
With
adverts.
I remember when I first got 300 meg because I was stuck with 15 meg for ages, and there was nothing worse than getting a game and then needing a day one patch. Fucking, because you knew you weren't playing it that day, and then I had to fight tooth and nail to get full fiber. And the fucked up thing was where we were, it was like a big block of communal flats, and 10 feet that way or 10 feet that way, you had access to 300 meg fiber. You couldn't get it in the block of flats that I was in because it needed to be like approved by all the landlords to have it put in. So for years I was gaming on 15 meg. Oh my God, I wanted to die. But now I can't go back lower than what I've got. So now I've got a gigabyte. So if I do decide to move, it's going to have to be a place that has another gigabyte. I'm not fucking moving. I just can't go back. So Overwatch launched at 8 p.m. So if you are going to go play it, get it downloading, and we'll be playing it. We'll probably do some shorts for it. We're doing a lot of shorts at the moment because they're easy, they're fun and they're easy. Just 30 seconds. Ginna does a lot of Fortnite ones. Ash has been doing a couple. I've been doing a lot of Modern Warfare ones. Just random little clips of the games we're playing, pretty much. So go and check out our shorts library. We do have quite a few now. And there's probably going to be a lot of Overwatch 2 ones in the next few days because I'm going to be playing that quite religiously. So what have I been playing? You know what? I've fallen into a really weird place again. Like I've gone quite competitive on the old achievements again. I never used to. I stopped for a while. I was playing Smite, didn't care for achievements as much. Now that I'm banned from Smite, I've been smashing the backlog, and I've been playing some very questionable games that Ash has also played, by the way. I would like to add that Ash has also played these games, but he's been ridiculing me all week for playing them. So stuff like Cruise Brothers, which is 5,000 gamer score for like £2.50. Took me about 4 to 5 hours to complete. My God, it's the worst fighting game I've ever played in my life. What else have I been playing? A Wanderer in the Night. That's a cool little indie game. Paw Patrol, been playing Paw Patrol. Played that for... I'll tell you how bad it got, to be fair. I started playing Paw Patrol and I was looking through the achievements, and there's an achievement to play with 4 different friends locally. And I thought, oh, okay, that sounds pretty easy. But no, it's not easy. Has to be 4 separate Xbox accounts using 4 different controllers to get the achievement. And I ended up making 3 fake Xbox accounts and borrowing 2 controllers off my mate to get the achievement. It's that bad again. I've been playing Deathloop. I'll tell you what, that game is amazing, but I'm just shit at it. I can't do that whole stealth thing. I don't have the spatial awareness and the reactions to deal with enemies. So, but the story's brilliant. Yeah, I'm a run and gunner. I like to, die and come back instantly. But Deathloop's amazing. If you haven't played it, definitely check that game out. The story's fantastic, and the character work is great. The way they interact with each other is just brilliant.
And it's on Game Pass.
And it's on Game Pass. Enjoying it a lot more than what I thought I would.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it for me, to be fair. I think that's all I've played this week. But yeah, there are some questionable titles in there for sure. So let's give a shout out to people in chat. We've got Sensei here. We've got Stubbs Gaming here. We've got Thimber. We've got Muppet. Always great to see you guys here in chat. Yeah, cheers for dropping by. So shall we get into some topics? No? Should you just call it a night? Cool.
No, let's get into it. Let's just talk Destiny just to upset
Let's not.
Muppet.
So, might as well go with the biggest news story. Well, at least it was at the time writing this up. Ubisoft has delayed Skull and Bones again for the 5th time. I don't know where I stand on this at this point. It just, something's not right, is it? It's just, yeah. What's your guys' opinions?
Graphic. I just
interested in this game since the moment it was announced. So
yeah, well, obviously it was originally because obviously when Black Flag hit, Assassin's Creed Black Flag hit, the best thing that most people, except for a certain person, thought best out of that game was the ship combat, the naval stuff. It was. That was the hot thing. Everyone wanted to be a part of it. So it was a good idea. Let's make a game with just, not Assassin's Creed, but ship combat. Brilliant idea. But then when, we're delaying it, and then it gets delayed again, then it doesn't get heard of for years, and then it comes back that, we're still doing it. It's coming out in November, the day before Ragnarok, the same day as that thing. And then... another announcement saying, we're delaying it till next year now. We've finished all development, but we want to make it good for you. So we're delaying it till next year. It's like, no, it's too late. Who's this game aimed at? Who's excited for Skull and Bones? And who's going to pay $70 for it?
Ubisoft games just don't hold value. They always drop in value within the first month or 2 months of being out. So just hold out and buy it later. That's how I'm looking at it.
Or if you play PC, subscribe to the service for cheap, play it, and then cancel your subscription.
Yeah.
For like quarter of the price.
I didn't hate the naval combat. It didn't do nothing for me. It was one of those parts of Black Flag that I just wanted to get through. I wasn't actively going out my way to partake in it. It was just achievements. There was achievements to it. To be fair. There was an achievement to take down the 4 legendary ships. But I just didn't enjoy it. I thought the controls were really clumsy, and it wasn't for me. And I kept getting broadsided as well, which isn't fun for anybody.
Launch game, wasn't it? Launch game for the PS4, Xbox One.
Yeah, it was. Blimey, that's a long time ago. I didn't realise it was that long ago. 2013, yeah. Came out at the same time as Rogue. I didn't play Rogue because... I made the switch at that point. I was already on Xbox One.
Rogue was for the previous console because for whatever reason they couldn't get Black Flag to run on that. So
I've got
Black
Rogue
Flag was for PS4, Xbox One, PS3, and 360 was Rogue. And Rogue was the better game.
I've got Rogue and the remaster, and I just never went back to it.
It's a good game.
It's
worth playing.
About you, Jenna? Do you care about Skull and Bones?
Absolutely not. I do like. I used to like the old Assassin's Creed games, but the one that I kind of switched off from all was Black Flag. So, the fact they're making a standalone game about like Skull and Bones, everyone was like, "Oh!" I remember it was first announced. Everyone was like, "Oh, it's going to be a Sea of Thieves killer. It's going to be great." And then, "Oh no, you can't get off the boat.
You can now, can't you?
Vegas.
I thought you could get off the boat now. I thought it's
You
like
can go in.
Who knows?
You can go
Change
into a
the
hub
window
town.
to 5 delays.
Womp womp. About you,
Nah.
Luke? You looking forward to it?
Absolutely not. No. I thought it was a stupid idea anyway because it's typical fucking Ubisoft, to be honest, because everybody said basically, like, I really enjoy Black Flag. I thought it was a great game, and like everybody else, all people said to Ubisoft was, we just want this game, but no Assassin's Creed in it. So of course, to Ubisoft, what they heard was, we want a ship combat multiplayer game where you can't get off your boat and you can't live any of the pirate fantasy at all. You are not a pirate; you're a boat. So it was just kind of pointless. And then obviously, underwhelming when they revealed it. So that instantly turned me off. And now it's had, I don't know, 4, 5,
Good
6,
few
7
years.
delays, however many it's been. And the reason they won't scrap it is because they got a pretty significant grant from the Singaporean government to make the game in Singapore. And they can't scrap it because the size of that grant is so massive that they need to release it. Otherwise, they have to not only bear all the losses that they've had from development, but then give all that money back. That's the condition of the grant. Because it's primarily it's developed in Singapore with support studios worldwide. So that it's just a bit of a nightmare scenario. I mean, it's good that they did delay it, I guess, for themselves outside of November, because obviously stuff like God of War's launching then and various other bits and pieces. But just shit.
Yeah.
Santa Monaco wiping the forehead now, thinking, thank God that's me. We would have been lost in the shuffle otherwise.
But in screws, yeah.
You know what? I will probably end up buying it and playing it. I won't be playing semi-box.
You're the problem.
Why?
Don't do it.
If the price drops
70
low enough, which it probably will,
It's
it'll
not.
be down to less than a tenner in like 3 months. Then I'll buy it and play.
Yeah,
it.
that's fine.
Yeah.
You'll buy it at 10 quid, and then next week it'll go free to play.
Probably. That's generally how it works. Either it goes free to play or it goes in Game Pass. And I end up kicking myself because I bought the fucking thing. But yeah, I'll probably play it if it comes down in price. But so yeah.
It won't be on Stadia though.
Chat, what do you think? Are you looking forward to Skull and Bones? Do you not really give a shit? Let us know. We'll move on to the next topic. So
Nobody
Microsoft
cares about Skull and Bones.
Microsoft has officially filed its case for its proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard with the European competition I can't talk tonight. I do apologize. Competition regulator. Regulators in the EU have set a November 8th provisional deadline. So we're moving on with it. It's it's been quite an interesting few weeks, isn't it? We seem to keep coming back to this. I'm sick of talking about it now, but let's talk about the next stage.
Yeah. But that November 8th provisional date, is that for them to announce whether they okay it and let it pass, or if they're going to go to phase 2?
I don't know.
The CMA.
I honestly don't know.
Luke's the man.
Yeah, Luke probably knows more about this than what I do.
Yeah, I think it's basically a phase 2 deadline date, as in, they can take it forward after November the 9th, November the 8th, sorry. So then they have kind of it's pretty similar to CMA phase 2 thing. I think they have a statutory deadline of 90 days for their phase 2 from memory. Again, pretty similar to CMA. And in fact, if they did delay it, it would kind of come out about the same time. If they did take it to phase 2, it would come out about the same time as CMA's provisional deadline of March 1st.
I read earlier that one of them is giving them a deadline by March of 2023.
The UK.
Yeah,
the UK
that's
one?
the CMA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they have a statutory process time limit effectively. So once they've announced phase 2, they have 24 weeks, which takes them to March 1st, but they can extend that by up to 8 weeks.
Do you think it'll be done
So
before
potentially,
then?
no, I think it will go to March, whether then they extend it, it's pretty rare they extend it. There would have to be something weird going on for them to do that. So
Yeah.
I think March will come, whatever result will happen then.
Nice.
But they'll know about a provisional decision before March 1st from the CMA, because they like to have a bit of time to be able to address some points if they don't like the CMA's decision, essentially.
So
What sort of things do they look at in the phase 2 stage? Is it more just like an in-depth of they want to see more of the books, more of what they're doing, reaching out more into the industry, or is it something along them lines?
Yeah, basically. So the phase 2 is just a more comprehensive investigation of regulatory concerns, competition concerns. So what they're looking for in particular in phase 2 is trying to define, like really closely define the markets that they think will be impacted by the merger. And they do massive amounts of information gathering for that purpose. So that's information and documentation from Microsoft, from Activision Blizzard, but also, from competitors, industry experts, that sort of thing. So that's it really. They're just, they're looking. The phase 2 investigation, as I've said before, is looking is it likely that there will be, or probable rather, a substantial lessening of competition because of the merger. So to do that, you actually need to do a great deal more research than phase 1. Even though in phase 1 they did a lot of research. I mean, I think they said they looked at over 1,000 documents. But it's more because the threshold is much higher to deter, to say at the end of it that there is a substantial lessening of competition. The actual investigation, is much more intense as a result. So so that's all they're doing basically.
So is it standard practice to bring, like obviously this whole thing that's come to light about Jim Ryan's flying out to Brussels and that, is that actually, obviously I'm assuming that's in this sort of stage, it's a standard practice to bring them in, like not just Sony, but obviously other members in the industry as well?
Yeah, it can be. They don't do it all the time. I think it's the EU Commission that did this. The CMA typically wouldn't invite people over. I have seen it before, but it's usually they'll just have to telephone calls and like that, or have some written submission. But yes, the EU Commission sometimes do invite significant rivals, over to discuss in person. Their thoughts, which is obviously, if you get the invitation as someone who doesn't like the merger, then you snap it up and you get your plane ticket ready for Brussels, because you've got a captive audience for the afternoon essentially. So
yeah, I'll tell you what, I found that whole Jim Ryan thing really weird. It's just, I find the more he talks publicly, the worse it looks for PlayStation, because it's just, PlayStation just seemed like they're in a really bizarre situation. I talked about this on Twitter, but like, from not releasing, was it a first-party studio game on the PS5 yet, to remaking games that are not even a decade old, to Jim Ryan's cancellation campaign that seems to be running at the moment. It's just, everything just doesn't seem like all's well at PlayStation. I feel like there's like stuff going on there that people don't necessarily know about. I don't know if it is worries or whatever, but I just found that whole, that whole Jim Ryan going to Brussels personally thing quite weird, because surely that's the sort of thing that can be handled by phone calls and emails. It seemed bizarre that he would just go to Brussels.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of weird in of itself, but it is pretty common for kind of big acquisitions that the commission would invite someone round, for a cup of tea and a discussion.
Apparently, Google have jumped on the bandwagon now as well for saying they don't approve.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's true.
After. Yeah, I think they made some comment somewhere about it.
They didn't have an issue with it in Brazil, and now they seem to have an issue with it now that Stadia has died. So
Yeah, well, the thing is that everybody's responses in Brazil were pretty couched because the Brazil regulator makes all this stuff public, so they don't really want that in the open. So if they do have issues, and to be honest, no one gives a fuck about the Brazil regulator. Like, they're not a particularly difficult regulator to get past.
Yeah.
So, whereas obviously when it comes to the commission, the NTC, and the CMA, all of it's private, so they can really just tell them what they actually think, and it's obviously PlayStation are not happy about it because I mean, look, it's Jim Ryan's obligation not to be happy about it. If he was happy about it and he was just like, yeah, it's absolutely fine, that I mean, he'd be
it makes PlayStation look really weak though. That's the thing. Like, nothing about this screams PlayStation's on top. So I'm quite distracted. I've just had this biggest fucking daddy long legs come flying in. Like, I'm pretty sure he's taking up fucking residence. He's huge. He's just flown right past the camera. I don't know if you saw that. Everything about this just screams desperation from PlayStation. I mean, this is a company that puts out first-party bangers. Everybody raves about their exclusives, but yet they seem really worried about losing a third-party publisher.
It's because the biggest sellers on their platform are COD and FIFA. As much as everyone says, oh, they got the first party, they're big performers, that's not what sells on those consoles. It's always been, in Europe especially, FIFA, and in the US you've got your Madden and your COD. So I think the thought of them, even if it's 10, 5, 8 years down the line, potentially losing COD, is they're gonna panic about it, aren't they? Because it's the big seller. If you start bundling Call of Duty with Series X's, then
I get rid of it. Sorry, I have to get rid of it. If he's fucking staying in here, he's got to pay rent.
Like in the UK, if FIFA not became exclusive, if Xbox bought EA and they started bundling a free copy of FIFA with every Xbox console, that people would start buying that instead of a PlayStation straight away.
Yeah, but they're not. That's the thing, though. They're not gonna take COD off PlayStation. It's
they're not going to. No.
Phil Spencer's come out and said it, hasn't he? He says it wouldn't be profitable to take it off. They just don't want to be tied into contract forever and beholden to PlayStation's the way they do their practices. They want to be able to, renegotiate the contracts, do away with this tax to have things cross-play and stuff. It's never going to come off the console, but the way it's been sold across is if that's what's going to happen when the current deal expires, but that's not the case. It's not coming off the console.
I just have to. I completely disagree, Stubbs. I think it does make PlayStation look really weak. It makes them look like. You what?
I think it's.
I agree. Yeah, they have been the way they've been talking about. We could never make this. We could never do X, Y, Z. It's
not a good look.
I think the issue is though that if this was reversed and it was Sony buying Activision, then Microsoft would be pretty similar in their responses, because again, I mean, not quite as much as PlayStation, because as has been said, Call of Duty is quite important to the PlayStation platform. It's very closely associated with PlayStation. The biggest player base of Call of Duty players is on PlayStation, and it obviously makes Sony and Activision a lot of money. So it's really important. But if this was reversed, then Microsoft would also kick up a fuss about it, because they're kind of under an obligation to do so, because they have, as directors, you have fiduciary duties to your company, which is your shareholders. And if there is potential for a big source of revenue to be taken away, as unlikely as that is, you have to be seen to be doing stuff about it.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying all the kind of arguments and rationale that PlayStation are using are particularly, true or comprehensive, but that they're the ones they've got, so they have to be seen to be doing something. And the Jim Ryan going to the commission stuff is not. I think people think that, that, and I get why, because Jim Ryan's, a bit of a weird character, but that he was on the phone to the commission like day one, being like, "Can I come down to have a chat?" Like it wouldn't.
We have things to discuss.
Yeah, we need to discuss this now. Like, it's not like that. He would have been invited down, right? They would have invited other people as well. But of course, like, it's Jim Ryan, isn't it? So it's fun to have a bit of a laugh about Jim Ryan.
I'm fueling PlayStation Airways as we speak.
Dancing on his desk. Need to come down.
That meme with the guys at the White House gate shouting "Let me in." I just like to imagine he would be turned up like that, and it's just "Let me in."
But yeah, I don't know what's going on. Do you think a lot of this kicking and screaming from PlayStation is because they know that financially they can't compete with? I mean, you got Tencent that are going around buying up fucking everything, Embracer Group going around buying up everything, and now you got Microsoft going around buying up massive publishers. Like, financially, PlayStation just don't have that kind of punching power, do they? Than these other three massive conglomerates.
Have you seen the website thing they set up for the Activision Xbox deal for why it's a good idea? And yeah, I thought that was quite funny. As if they were trying to, so regulators and everyone can look at it and say, this is why it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think it probably is a consideration for PlayStation, that they can't do stuff like that, right? I mean, they can spend a lot of money on acquisitions, but can't spend 70, 80 billion on one.
I mean, they bought Bungie and they didn't even get the Destiny IP. That's something I thought was quite bizarre.
And it's their multiplat as well.
Yeah, and it's their multiplat.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess for them, like, it wasn't about. I think the Bungie acquisition was a little different because it wasn't about.
They do get their expertise, don't they, for live service?
Yeah, they get their expertise, which is really important to them. They get a massive source of revenue, which is really, really great for them. And I just think they probably looked at it when it's not much like Call of Duty and Microsoft, right? It's not worth bringing it only to our platform because actually it won't be profitable to do that. It's stupid.
I think the landscape's changing. I don't think PlayStation likes it. I think that's one of the biggest issues.
Yeah,
they're working on like 10 live service games, didn't they?
They're
go in
10 or 12.
The Horizon, Sea of Thieves, all the live service games like even Halo's tried to do. Sony's going to start doing that now, and who better than Bungie? You can't buy Epic
Makes
and
sense.
get Fortnite. Take Bungie next, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think I think what people forget is that people think that competition is massive conglomerates buying other massive conglomerates. That's actually an antithesis to what competition is, and it's why you have competition laws. It's one of the reasons, and it's one of the reasons mergers and acquisitions are investigated. Because you could have any market where you have good competition, and then all of a sudden someone outside of the market with a lot of money can just swoop in and just go, right, we own this segment of the market now, we own all of it. And that's really bad for competition. So I know some people look at this and they're like, it's a positive. And to be honest, I want the merger of Activision Blizzard and Microsoft to go through. Game Pass at the end of the day, it'll be great. And I think there's benefits to it other than that. But I think it's kind of cheeky when people like Satya Nadella say, let us have competition, when what they're doing isn't competition, it's acquisition. That's not competition. So, they're not competing on the merits of their own products and services, or it's not what they're doing. They're saying, right, we're going to buy this, and that will allow us to compete better. And that's fine. Like, that's absolutely fine, because this is why these regulations are in place. It's why these laws are in place, and that's why they're ultimately allowed in most circumstances. But it's the scrutiny is to prevent a scenario where Microsoft turn around and go, you know what, actually Ubisoft and EA are also really good, so we're going to get them. And then all of a sudden, like, the choice for consumers is shit because Microsoft or Tencent or whoever own everything. That's, but like, I don't think this particular acquisition is anti-competitive at all.
Do you think it'll go through?
Given yeah, I think so.
Cool.
One thing I will say is that phase 2 for the CMA is basically the place where deals go to die, typically. So I think of the 48 or 56, something like that, have gone to phase 2 in the last 3 years. About 36, 40 odd of them have all failed. They've been abandoned worldwide for whatever reason. That's not to say the CMA have blocked them, because they're going to actually block one of those. Yeah. But typically, if it goes to phase 2 in the UK, it means that other regulators are a bit touchy about it, and usually the deals end up failing. I don't think this one will. I think it'll go through. But,
is this where they would have to make the concessions if there was going to be any in this phase 2?
Yeah. yeah, if there was going to be any, they'd make them here. But I don't think they will. I think they need to see first, like, because obviously the CMA need to evaluate this and actually think, is it likely that this will cause a substantial lessening of competition? Now, unfortunately for Microsoft, the fuss that Google have kicked up is actually pretty detrimental to all of this, because one of the main areas the CMA were really concerned about was cloud subscription services, and Google have outright come out and said we were a new competitor into this market, and we've it's bullshit, but we've been forced out of it.
To be fair, though, I think Google, the Stadia, I keep calling it the Stadia dying.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that was down to how Google handled it, because the launch was dire.
Absolutely.
Didn't have many games at launch. I just think they over-delivered and underserved. You know what I mean? Because I remember like they couldn't get the fucking pre-orders right. They messed up the launch. Like everything about the Stadia started going wrong from day one. I think and Game Pass was already established at that point. You know what I mean?
It's nothing to do with Microsoft as to why Stadia died. It's Google. You know, it's them just both screwing up the launch and also then deciding it wasn't worth committing a load of money to. You know, shutting down all the studios, not bringing any really exclusive content to
Which was a damn shame, because it had a lot of promise, a lot of potential.
Yeah, I think it's probably the best service out of, in terms of quality of streaming.
It had the lowest latency as well, didn't it?
Yeah, and the highest resolution as well. So, but unfortunately for Microsoft, if Google start talking about that stuff, that will prick the ears of regulators up, especially the CMA, because that's one of the main areas they're concerned about.
There is nothing, though, is there?
There
is nothing that can compete with Game Pass, like from any company at the moment. It's like,
no, but that's why regulators probably quite worried, because they're like, well, nothing can compete with it. That's not good. Even though obviously the value is great for consumers, but it's not quite what the regulators look at. But
it's a weird one. I feel like Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox, Nintendo and Microsoft particularly, they've definitely tried to innovate the last 5-6 years. PlayStation feels very much stuck in its ways. Put out a console, release games on that console. That pretty much seems to be the
when
playbook.
You're top of the mountain.
Yeah, it's weird, because I feel like the more they've gotten ahead, like the further ahead they've gotten. I don't know if that's the word, gotten. The more further ahead they've gone, the more complacent they've become. They don't seem to be that invested in innovation. Whereas Xbox was pretty much like, right, we're going to do a Game Pass, like Netflix for games. Boom. And there was like literally nothing that was coming that was remotely close to that.
My mate Jim is just trying to protect the gamers.
Your mate Jim.
He's looking out for gamers, protecting the gamers.
He's looking out for shareholders.
Right. He's looking after me. I feel so looked after that he's fighting for me. Right?
It doesn't matter how much you defend him, he's not going to come to your house and offer you a reach around.
Thank you, Jim.
The Jimboree.
It's all right. When we have our PlayStation podcast up and running, I'm going to have a picture of Jim Ryan up here, Like I did have God Howard at some point, but I don't know where that one went. So I'll get a picture of Jim posing with his DualSense.
Have we told people about this? I can't remember. We talk about a lot of shit. So in case you weren't around when we did mention it, there is going to be XBL itself is kind of rebranding. Ash is working on the website and maybe the Twitter as well, but it's going to be rebranding to be something that covers everything. Because at the moment we've got XBL. But then that turns off a lot of the PlayStation guys. That turns off a lot of the, Steam and Nintendo guys. So we're going to be rebranding to one main aspect, and then we're going to have divisions like the XBL division, which is going to be like the Xbox centric. And then BmG himself is going to be doing a PlayStation show called PlayStation Life Party Podcast. And I believe Ash has got plans for like movie shows and wrestling shows and comic shows. Basically, there's tons of content coming, so share this shit out with everybody, because it's quite overwhelming, but it should be really cool. So yeah, there is the PlayStation Live podcast coming, in case you didn't know. Should we keep talking about this? Or?
The PlayStation podcast is sticking true to its values as well, so you have to pay £10 to get
Yes.
it in a higher resolution. No, you already own the rights to watch the podcast. You have to pay £10 more so you can watch it in a better quality.
No,
You can watch it in 180p on YouTube, or you can pay £10 a month for that true next-gen tax and get 1080p
no,
on the
but
Patreon.
you just wait for until I do the remaster. And I'll only charge you 70.
What we're going to do is we're going to put out the show once a week, and then the week after we're going to put out the high def version for an extra $10. It's going to be a remastered show. And you won't be able to watch any of the shows that come before it if you've upgraded.
I'm just saying, genius. People are buying it. Why not? Keep doing it.
So
All hail Jim Ryan.
So we might, that, to be fair, that kind of ties us into another topic, which is the Google Stadia, whatever we want to fucking call it, is coming to an end. Google have taken it out to pasture and blown its brains out. Just, yeah, it didn't do well, did it? I think they fucked up everything about the Stadia, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So that's a shame, because it did have a lot of potential and promise.
They really fucked over a lot of devs. So they got a lot of people to quit, move jobs, set up studios, and then sacked them all last year. And then they put Hot Wheels, I don't know if you saw this, they put Hot Wheels onto Stadia. So the developers worked on it, ported it, got everything done the day before they announced they were killing it. So they launched the game, and the next day it's like, oh yeah, Stadia's dead. It's like, oh, thanks for that. We just spent all this time developing, launching.
Did you
afterwards you kill it?
Did you see that tweet that guy put out saying this is why we didn't develop a game for Stadia? Like almost immediately after Google announced that it was dying, like killing off the Stadia.
Yeah, and
brutal.
The developers of Hot Wheels put up a tweet as well saying they weren't told by Google either that they had any plans to shutter Stadia whilst they were being asked to port the game over.
Stubbs, you'll be pleased to know that I will not be on the PlayStation podcast, at least not until I get a PlayStation of my own. Do we have a time and date for it yet? It's on Wednesdays, isn't it? 5 to 10? Is that when we're doing it? 2-hour show?
No date and time. Day or times have been decided.
That's not what you were saying the other day.
We're still waiting on the rebrand, and we're still in the planning stage. But the idea is going to be me as host, co-host, and a rotating third chair. And you have to bleed blue, and you have to be a cult member of Jim Ryan to be a part of it.
The other day, we said to BMG, look, when do you want to do it? What's the best days for you? And BMG was like, you know what? Let's do it on a Wednesdays at 5 to 10. And we were like, isn't that when midweek gaming's on? And BMG was like, yeah, fuck Stubbs. We'll do it anyway. And we'll get the show going. Joking, by the way.
I think his words were, let's do it midweek. I want to mix things up.
And then we were like, Stubbs, we were like, BMG, what do you want to call it? It's like, I don't know, like halfway through the week gaming. I'm like, oh, cool, sounds good.
My phone's going to be buzzing. Oh, dear.
That's your fault for being nasty to Stubbs.
It is. I'll tell you what, it's uncalled for. The things you were saying about him, absolutely uncalled for. He's only ever been nice about you.
Stubbs knows I love him. I love you, Stubbs.
Right, let's get into another topic because the Google one's shit. So Razer is making a cloud-based handheld console in collaboration with Verizon and Microsoft. It will run on Android and it will give you access to Xbox Game Pass. I'm quite excited about this, to be fair. I think if there was ever a time for Xbox to have a handheld, I think this is it. Razer put out some good quality gear. I think at the right price, I might have to get one.
It's all in the partnership, isn't it? It's instead of Xbox having to eat all the cost of actually making a piece of hardware, they just have to, because it's all cloud-based, they just team with people. It's like, what's the point in us making the hardware to sell it probably at a loss for people to play, xCloud or Game Cloud in. And
it makes sense now with
whatever they call it.
It makes sense with the Game Pass app. I mean, why put it on? Why make your own hardware where you can just stick an app on it and boom, like it works.
That's it. Because it's coming on. It's coming part of the Logitech one, which is Wi-Fi only, which I still don't fully get.
Oh, that one's just stupid.
Yeah, if you're going to be gaming in your house, Yeah, the Logitech. If you the partnering also Game Pass is going to be.
I don't understand the price point on that thing. 350
Yeah,
quid
it's
for a
ridiculous.
Logitech
The battery's
handheld.
really good. Nearly all the money's in the battery.
Yeah, it's not worth it. The Razer one sounds better because it's going to have the 5G. So obviously you're going to have to make, it sounds like it's going to run well if you've got 5G in your area. Which, depending where you live in the UK, pretty much 5G is only in the major cities. Where I am, there's one 5G tower, and it doesn't cover my area. I'm still on copper wire for internet. That's how bad it is where I am. We still have people coming past with carts selling like milk and eggs and stuff like that, and
Mate,
the guy with a Hovis bike.
I live in fucking Cornwall. Like, if anyone should have shit internet, it should be me. I haven't.
Yeah, but
I've got
Jamie Oliver's got a
super
restaurant in your
fast,
town.
mega gigabyte internet. I'll tell you what, we got the EU.
got
We got the EU to thank for our internet because we got all our subsidies from the EU, and they paid for all the infrastructure down here in Cornwall to get us faster internet. And then we left the EU, and taking the internet with us. Can't
Best thing
complain.
we did.
What's your internet like, Jenna?
Best thing we did.
Ripped up the cables on the way out, did they?
What's your internet like, Jenna? You were in Wales.
I got a gig.
Yeah, so Wales, Cornwall, arse
live
ends
in a
of the UK, and we've still got gigabyte internet.
Yeah.
What's Jersey like, Luke? You're
Jersey's
about 10
actually-
gig?
Oh, I was going to say I've got a gig, but Jersey's actually one of the best infrastructure.
Where the
for
fuck
internet
is
in the world.
Jersey?
Like actually ranked.
I feel like I should know that.
It's frozen.
Which one's frozen?
Luke.
Luke's frozen. Luke,
Just he's telling us
frozen.
how great his internet is. I'm calling him a liar.
He could have timed that better if he wanted to. My God. That was
You're
fantastic.
frozen, Luke.
We're better than Japan. We got the world's best internet, I tell you. And then he freezes.
So Luke is currently experiencing technical difficulties.
Or is he just staying really still? Let's just see if he blinks.
Apparently, he's the only person in Jersey ever to have internet drop.
Someone blowing his eyes. Go on. See if he blinks.
Luke, if you can hear us, blink twice.
That's amazing.
I think we've lost him. We
We
lost
have.
Luke.
So,
Oh dear.
what were we talking about? Oh yeah, Razer making a handheld. Thimber, yes, Razer are making a handheld cloud-based
It'll be.
console.
Luke's just messaged me. He'll be back in a minute. His PC's just blue screened.
I bet it's his internet. He's lying. I bet his internet crapped out. That's amazing. So, what should we talk about?
Jersey internet.
Jersey internet. It's meant to be
topic.
brilliant.
Well, actually, it was Jersey PC. that
Your
decided to
timing
blue
then was
screen.
fucking perfect.
I know. Yeah, just completely blue screened. That was weird.
I bet it's his internet. He's lying. His internet crapped out.
Yeah, it's my internet. Shocking. I've only got 56k. Yeah,
Still
but,
faster than Ash.
no. Yes, Jersey is an island off the coast of England. It's in the Channel.
I still have no idea what that is. I should know these things.
It's a very small,
Yeah.
very small.
So
They have Jersey dollars, which is like Monopoly money.
I just love the idea that we're all in like the remotest parts of the UK, and we have gigabyte, and you're living in like the middle of the UK and have shit internet.
I'm not in the middle. I'm on the northwest. I'm actually on the coast. I'm very close to Isle of Man, an island. In fact, if I drive round the corner, I can jump on a boat and go to the Isle of Man.
I don't know where the Isle of Man is.
Oh, it's another tiny little island.
I'll tell you what, mate. I'm geographically dense. I don't know anything outside of Cornwall.
You're looking at the map. It's above Wales and a bit to the left.
I know where Wales is because that's just outside of Cornwall. I can deal with that.
Have you heard of a
Find Jersey.
TV series called The Bay?
No,
No, the ITV show The Bay.
I don't watch TV.
No. Oh well, this is where I am is where it's filmed.
All right.
as well as an episode of Peaky Blinders, some Disney princess thing, and some other Netflix show.
The more you know. Should we do another topic?
Yeah, I tried getting on as an extra, but they didn't want somebody streaking.
That's fair.
Their loss, I suppose.
Halo reveals all 24 co-op campaign achievements, but then deleted the post within a minute. Take it away, Ginna.
I mean, gotta give them the quickest content they've put out there on accident.
Closest we've ever got to co-op.
I know. Yeah, co-op's coming in. Everyone knows it. I just the more interesting thing they've been saying this week is those rumor that come out that they're switching to Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah, I read that.
Oh no, this is ridiculous. It's fine. And then all of a sudden, more and more people are like, actually, this might be happening. And then even Jez Corden was like, no, it's ridiculous. And he was like, I'm speaking to people. I'm starting to believe this might actually happen. It's like, oh Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's been doing some research, hasn't he? Apparently, was it the Certain Affinity originally started in the Slipspace engine, and now it's that side that's switching over more than actually Halo Infinite. Yeah, because
that they're not working on.
I'll tell you what. Honestly, I'd be
not
happy.
Officially announced.
I'd be
Halo
happy.
Infinite's dead, isn't it? And they done with that?
Nah, still going. It's going strong, better than ever.
I heard we're waiting on Halo 6. Halo 6 is coming in 15 years.
Do you want to know what I find funny? Like when Ginna first started talking about Halo Infinite, you could see the joy in his little face when he talked about
best
it.
Game ever made.
And now, whenever he talks about Halo, you can tell that he's genuinely dead inside and literally hoping for anything decent from Halo. Like you can see the tears like starting to build up in his eyes as he fakes a smile to say how much he loves Halo.
I sound like that woman who's just met an amazing boyfriend, and then down the line they find out he can't handle his drink, and he's a bit of a nightmare when he's drunk. And his name's normally Darren, and you hear in the streets outside the pub at 2 in the morning, oh, Darren, leave him alone. And then it's, oh, he's a nice guy, really. Oh, have you got to know him? And that's what I feel at the moment. So I loved Halo Infinite. It came out. It was the best feeling.
Can we just clarify that you've just said that you feel like a domestic violence victim?
I'm there. Did you see the photo I bought?
Fuck me.
I mean, I'm there.
We have to edit this part of the fucking video out.
I'm buying
Halo 5. Halo 5 was the best Halo game.
I didn't say domestic violence. He was beating it. I just said he got drunk and leery and was a bit an arsehole.
So Halo is like the drunken boyfriend.
Crying woman. That is not what's happening.
Jesus.
I'm just saying that, yeah, it started off amazing. It was a great game. They had so much potential, and then they fucked it up in only the way that 343 could. So.
Well, fingers crossed that they can turn it around.
2 seasons a year?
It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's too long.
They could have just called the winter update Season 3, and everyone would have been happy. Nobody would have known.
No one had to know the difference. It would have been fine.
They shot themselves in the face. They went, oh, we haven't done good. Should we tell people? Should we, wrap it up? Nah, fuck it. Let's just be honest with them. Everyone's mad at us. Let's tell them how bad we are.
Bobby Ross's last decision is walking out the door. Tell everyone it's not season 3.
I bet the guys at 343 are like, our fans are kind of expecting disappointment at this point. We can't let them down.
Their latest update was fantastic because they said the words, we're going to be more open and transparent with the community. We're going to put things in when they're ready instead of like these arbitrary takes and stuff. And then they just started mentioning stuff. And they went, but we're not ready to talk about that yet. We'll tell you later. It's like, oh, so there you are hiding stuff again. Literally seconds later after you say you're going to be open and tell us everything. And then they're like, oh, this is ready, but we're going to launch it in Season 3. It's like, well, if it's ready, put it out your bell end. You just said a moment ago about arbitrary dates. Like,
I'll tell you what, my favourite 343 PR bomb was when they said, oh, well, we understand that, players are getting frustrated and they want more content. And then, I believe it was 2 or 3 days later, they said, oh, yeah, by the way, the next season is going to be 6 months long. It's like, who the fuck is in charge of the PR department? Because that's amazing. That's such an amazing turnaround. Oh yeah, we understand your concerns. We understand that you want more content. By the way, 6 months to the next one.
If I worked in PR for 343, I
bet Don Matrick. Don Matrick is head of the fucking Halo PR department. I bet you anything.
But they haven't got one. They don't speak. Like the thing that Bungie always did, I'm not sure if they still do it with Destiny as much. They used to be amazing at making like documentaries and videos and tell you what's happening and speak to the community. Whereas 343 just go off the radar, miss deadlines, and then 3 months later come out and go, "Oh, sorry, we missed the deadline.
Oops.
Everything we put in the last roadmap that we've missed the deadline on. So here's a new one. See you in 3 months." It's just like get the pins out the grenade and throw them behind them once they walk out the room. They don't give a fuck.
Luke
Bungie
still...
are amazing at keeping us up to date.
Stubbs says that Luke Steele was a Halo guy too. What's your opinion, Luke?
Well, I'm a Halo guy. I'm becoming increasingly less of a Halo guy, I think, after Infinite. Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't even know what to say about it anymore because I think it was the same place as the Ginna, where like for a year I was like, it's all right, you know, it's been a rocky launch, it's not great. They'll come good. You know, they must have so much content they're working on. They just need to roll this out, and once it gets going, it, you know, kind of will be an unstoppable train. But like the train's never got out of the station basically for them. They've just kind of like fucked it completely. And I like, it's unfathomable to me that they have so many developers and so many support developers, and we've got how many maps? Is it 2, 3, 4 since launch? 2, yeah, it's 2, isn't it? It was the big team battle one and the little arena based one. Absolute bonkers. Like, it's just totally bonkers. To me, that's all we've got. And I mean, I totally like, it's the best feeling Halo's ever been. The moment to moment gameplay is amazing, and that can carry you a long way. But it cannot carry you out of no content, no matter how good it is. And I see people like still committed to it and playing it all the time, and I just think, oh man, like
I still play it.
It must be. Yeah, it's like different, but it's like it's difficult. You know, it's really difficult to actually stick to. Yeah, it's just not good. And I don't know how they turn it around, to be honest.
I didn't play it for a while, and I chucked it on for the entrenched things. When those ones come up, I'm like, yeah, I'll jump back in, and I had a blast. I had a day on there. It was amazing. And then by the end of the day, I'd say about like, you know, a good 3-4 hours, because it doesn't take long to do those events, even though they're meant to be these huge, carry it for a week or two.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, 3-4 hours later, I was like, I had some really good games there. I'm done for the day, and there's just no incentive to go back to it since. I haven't felt to go back. I think removing all social features doesn't help. Removing the thing where it goes from one game straight into another, so you don't have the chance to get that feeling of, oh, can I be bothered to play again? That, like, it's not helped themselves. The way they've designed the game, it doesn't keep you in the game. It's doing everything it can to push you back to the menu on your own, away from your friends, away from randoms you might have met and had a good time with, away from a game mode or a map you would enjoy, and there's no option to vote to play again or vote for the next one with like people you've met. They've just killed all social features, which is exactly what Halo's always thrived on. It's baffling.
It's bonkers, and I think even stuff like the battle pass, it's just not good. Like, the stuff that's in there, I don't think is incentive enough for you to overlook all those lack of social features and the lack of content, and to be like, okay, well, at least I get some really cool cosmetics. I just don't think they're very good at all. At least compared to, you know,
both of them. Yeah, done them both.
Yeah. I've done the first one, and the second one, I'd like, no, don't want to do it.
I do apologise for walking out whilst you were in mid-conversation. I had some dickhead knocking on my door. He's gone now.
Is it BMG?
No. I'm happy to see BMG at the door, but it's not BMG. He's looking for the wrong...
Everyone's happy to see me.
He fucking got the wrong address. What a legend. Fucking delivery driver.
Well, we should have took it.
Nah, it's not my fucking...
I love that when someone turns up saying, is this parcel for here? Yeah. Get on. It's a mamba. What's going on?
So, are we done with Halo talk, do you think?
I think we've had our little counselling session. I think we both feel better afterwards.
Yeah.
Good.
Halo needs to just go into a very dark corner and disappear for a very long time to come back with all this new stuff, all this new content, and say, you're going to have a new season every 4 months, do it every quarter. There's stuff to keep you going. Jobs are good. And who else does that? Oh yeah, Destiny, Bungie.
The problem you got is they can't do it because they did that for 6 years to make this game.
Yeah.
and, now,
Yeah.
and then it came out with nothing. So who's going to believe them if they need 4 more months?
It's a
Yeah,
shame. It's a shame. It really
I was going to
is.
say that day will come, but it'll be in like 2032 or something like that. They'll be like, right, we've got all the content ready now. We're ready to go. And people will be like, what game is it again? What?
It can make a recovery. Like everyone's seen
The-
Cyber recently, No Man's
Yeah.
Sky. Like games are no longer dead. If you can patch them enough, they do come back. And it's got numbers.
Yeah.
Like people are playing it. It's not like literally no one's playing it. It's just, it's not going to be what it was on day one. Like people go, oh yeah, but it's dropped 90%. Most, if you look at pretty much any FPS,
Yeah,
they
most
dropped
do,
90% over 6 months anyway. It's dropped.
Tell you
so
what, mate,
far.
if Cyberpunk can make a revival, I'm pretty sure Halo can.
Yeah. I actually want to start playing Cyberpunk because I only ever played about
I'll
20
tell you
minutes
what,
of it.
mate. It's
Yeah.
I don't talk about it highly enough. I don't think that game is absolutely incredible. It's hands down one of my all-time favorite games I've ever played. I'm glad I went back to it. The setting, the city, the missions, the story, the characters. It's just such an awesome experience. I mean, I know it had that really, really, really disastrous launch, but I went back to it before the anime and the 1.6 update. I went back to it at the 1.51 update, like when we've patched the majority of the bugs. You can play it now. I went back to it then, and I'll tell you what, it's just an incredible game. I honestly can't praise it enough. It takes about 10 hours to get into it. But
I didn't get past the building a character screen. I just liked giving myself a big penis and moving the character left and right to make it swing.
that's what it's all about, isn't it? The opportunity to have a massive dong.
Big penis, small penis, big penis, small penis, no penis.
Give it a go, Ginna.
Yeah,
Go
no, I
back to
started. I did a character creator. I did some of the campaign. I got the naked lady in the bath and did a few other missions and stuff. And then, yeah, I just never.
You've
went
got a
back to
long.
it.
Yeah, it takes about 10 hours to get into it. You're right at the start of the game. It's
Is that not too long to get into a game, though? You
No.
have to about 10 hours for the
Yeah,
game to be
but
good.
it's.
Really?
I tell you what, mate. When the game starts kicking off, it fucking kicks off in a really good way.
After 10 hours, you know, get through all the crap, struggle like hell for 10 hours, and then it gets good.
Good evening, Timmy. Timmy has COVID. I don't know why I find that funny. I found out today. Timmy has COVID.
Yeah, get well soon, mate. COVID's it's not a nice thing to have.
I had it
It's a
for
horrible thing.
COVID was the biggest disappointment in the last 2 years. Have we
You got it really late though, didn't you? You
no.
had, like,
Oh, shut up. Don't you start
game-
this
game
Omicron
watered
light.
down stuff you did.
Have you had it yet, BMG?
Yeah, I was quite bad with it. I was quite bad with COVID.
What about you, Luke?
It fell. If mine fell between when it was like I've got twins, their birthday and Father's Day. Had to pretty much keep my distance away from everyone because my daughter's got a condition where she didn't have an immune system, so obviously I had to kind of stay away. So it was quite a horrible time. But yeah, I was not in a good way, to be honest with COVID. And I'm triple jabbed, so it was a bit of a
What about you,
bit of a
Luke?
horrible doom, I'm afraid.
You had it?
Yeah, but it was nothing
Yeah.
for me. Again, triple jabbed, but all I had was a very, very mild cough.
Yeah, I had messages, emails, text messages. You've got to isolate it. You're high risk, and I kind of got that drilled into my head. So I didn't really leave the house for like a year, and then in March I thought I had tickets to see Funeral for a Friend in Bristol, and that gig got delayed because of COVID. And I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna go. Went to the gig on a Sunday. Monday morning, woke up with a horrendous sore throat, and I thought, oh, fuck me, here we go. This is it. You've got it. And then Tuesday, I got a little bit feverish. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a test, see what's going on. Sent the test in Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday, back to normal.
Yeah.
Absolutely anticlimactic. And then I
Yeah,
got the fucking test results back about 4 days later saying, yeah, you got COVID.
You
Yeah.
got lucky, man. You got lucky.
I'll give over. You milked it.
That was a bad way.
I remember that picture you sent on Discord. That was hilarious.
You had COVID for a year, didn't you, Ginna?
He's had it like 3 times.
Yeah. No, I've only had it once.
Got COVID, got genital warts, then you got COVID again.
And malaria. You had malaria for a bit.
House had it for over a month because my wife had it. My wife's friend was living here with us at the time, and my kids. None of the rest of us caught it. Then, my wife's friend got it. No one else caught it. And on the last day that she had to stop isolating, I got it. And one of my daughters got it, and it was like, all right, okay. And then the other daughter who'd survived everyone then got it on the last day of us lot having to isolate. So we just kind of lasted as long as it could. So it was about 5-6 weeks we were stuck in the house, unable to go anywhere, isolated.
I remember the...
when I had it, I had the, what's it called? Mind fog, so I could barely put like a sentence together and stuff. I was pretty fucked. And pain in my balls. My balls were really swollen and hurting. I don't know why.
I remember when you had it the first time, you sent the picture on Discord. My God, you looked like 10 pounds of shit in a £5 bag. It was hilarious.
I felt really bad. Yeah, and my balls. It was mostly the balls. The balls took the brunt of it. My balls and my brains just didn't function properly like they should.
It's weird how it affects people differently, isn't it?
Yeah, none of my little girls, my missus or her friend had pain with their balls. So just me.
Yeah.
I was with Tim 2 days ago as well. So if I don't get it again now, then probably won't get it again. Yeah, weird one. Let's do another topic. We've completely gone off fucking gaming news here. Welcome to COVID Chat UK. So yeah, Tencent is reportedly switching its acquisition strategy and aggressively seeking to own a majority or controlling stakes in overseas game companies. Luke, this is probably one for you.
It's not surprising, I don't think. Typically, I mean, you know, they've been making investments in various companies for a good while now, but it's usually just a minority stake. Usually just something to get some equity in the door for these companies, and then hopefully for Tencent to either exit or just profit from it through, you know, dividends, etc. But now it seems like they're changing that, and they want to actually, you know, acquire companies a bit more, / make significant majority stake investments in them. So, it's not surprising. You know, that's kind of where the industry's going, reconsolidation.
Do you know? Isn't it weird though that there's this big hoorah about Xbox getting Activision, but nobody seems to bat an eye at Tencent and Embracer Group?
Yeah, but the reason that is, I think, for the most part, is that so like Embracer are probably a better example because Tencent haven't really been buying companies, but when Embracer buys someone, they're really small. Like they're in the general gaming landscape, they're either a developer or maybe a very small publisher, and so they, first of all, for competition law purposes, they don't even trigger any competition laws, you know, because the acquisition, the size of the entity being acquired, the size of the deal is so small that nobody gives a shit. You know, competition regulators don't care about it. That will change if Tencent start going around trying to acquire like EA or Ubisoft. You know, if they already have a stake in Ubisoft, if they try and, you know, buy the rest of Ubisoft, it'd be pretty difficult. But if they did, or they tried to buy EA or someone like that, all of those kind of deals that are for billions will come under regulatory scrutiny, just like the Microsoft Activision one. It's just that Tencent, you know, typically just don't acquire people. They just, you know, say, right, we want 10%, you know, or 15%. And Embracer tend to buy, you know, THQ Nordic or, you know, some.
Could that be part of the strategy, though, to not trigger the regulators, just to buy lots of little things? Because you keep buying lots of little things, you're going to have a massive portfolio, aren't you, eventually?
Yeah, you would, but like, I mean, in terms of pure effect on competition, it's pretty low because, you know, if you think about, if you define a market as, let's say, game development, right? And you think about what share of the market, Embracer have, it's actually really small relative to the market. So they could buy hundreds of developers and not ever raise a competition concern, because they're still a very small part of the market. Obviously, they're still a big player in it, but a Tencent, again, a little bit different for them, because I guess they, although again, I mean, in terms of pure stake in game development, they're pretty low, even though they make a ton of money from it. Same with Sony and Microsoft to some extent. It's when the thing that regulators get spooked about is when you are acquiring, big chunks of a market, or you are potentially affecting competition in new segments in the market, like cloud gaming or game subscription services or like that. But they don't really care about what Embracer and Tencent are doing at the minute. But as I say, that would change if Tencent went out tomorrow and said, right, we're buying Ubisoft, or we're buying EA or someone like that,
Yeah, makes sense.
Do you think what's we got you on is, if people keep saying that Sony share price keeps diving, they're primed for a buyout by, Apple or someone like that. Do you think that could ever happen, or would regulators stop that? Like someone coming in and buying the market leader in so many markets outright, would they stop that?
Yeah, it's a difficult question. I mean, I think they, if you look at their share price is low because of various. I mean, the market is massively depressed anyway, especially the tech market. And obviously, they had a pretty significant impact to their share price the day the Activision Microsoft merger was announced, which they've never really recovered from. In terms of someone buying them, I don't. I mean, I don't. I'll never say never, because I don't know what PlayStation Sony will look like 60 years from now, 50 years from now. But short to medium term, I don't think anybody's looking to buy them, and I don't think Sony would be looking to sell. I mean, it's a pretty massive acquisition. And as you say, it would depend on who, because, would regulators stop it? You've got so many markets that Sony are involved in that it would be really interesting to see what regulators would say. It would depend on who buys them, if anybody bought them. If Apple did, Apple are technically in the game market, with Apple Arcade and other bits and pieces. They have iOS, which is effectively a huge gaming platform, as well. A regulator would probably not allow it. They would probably ask for a sell-off of PlayStation to be spun out or something like that. So that's the type of deal that would be really difficult for someone to do. It would be really difficult. Which is why it's a bit weird when everybody's like, oh yeah, Sony will get bought because Apple have loads of money. It's like, well, yeah, but they can't just magic an acquisition out. Why would they want to? They might not want to get into that market.
So Sony's market cap is currently at 84.58 billion. They're third on the list. Microsoft first, Tencent second.
For the gaming companies,
Yeah, the actual market worth of company worth,
Yeah, I think that's where, like Luke was saying, when it comes to Microsoft arguing that if Google starts saying, well, because we streamed, we're part of the market, then Microsoft might throw it open and say, well, yeah, you also do mobile games and platforming, which is gaming, and you and Google are, yourself and Apple are worth trillions or hundreds of billions as well. But they'll still be above them anyway, but it'll make it look more competitive than it is. They'll say, well, we're not the only big company. You guys are also involved in gaming. You're just as big as us, or nearly as big as us.
Embrace is interesting, though, because their market cap's only 7.76 billion. Which seems, for what they own and the size of it, but compared to a lot of other, publishers, developers, and companies, seems relatively quite low, because they've got so many studios, so many developers. It just seems such a low amount. That puts them currently at 17 on the list of the top ones. They're at 17, which is surprising, really.
I think at least double-ish Ubisoft at the minute. Ubisoft's market cap is only about €3.5 billion, something like that.
1 second. Yeah, Ubisoft's placed 28 at 3.62 billion.
That's
So
cheap for the IPs
That's
they
a
have
steal.
as well.
Yeah, for Ubisoft.
Watch out, Ubi. Saudi's on its way.
There was that concern that they were trying to hostile take over Ubisoft not long ago, wasn't there?
Well, they said they're going to spend 15 billion buying publishers this year, aren't they, or over the next year or so?
Saudi, yeah.
No,
Saudi.
Ubisoft were they was quite public that they had genuine concerns that they were getting hostile taken over. I can't remember who it was
That
by
was-
the
Vivendi, that was
Yeah.
a
Vivendi,
few years
yeah.
back, wasn't it? But they eventually backed off. And Tencent, they've bought a 49% stake in the Gilmore Brothers Holdings, I think the main company is called, if I remember rightly, and increased their stake in Ubisoft to, is it
14%.
10%?
Yeah.
Yeah, 14%. I don't understand that. How does that work? If Ubisoft is owned by Gilmore Brothers Limited or Group, whatever it is, and Tencent own 49% of that, if they end up with a majority in that eventually, wouldn't they automatically own Ubisoft? I don't understand how that works. How can they own 49% of the main company, and Ubisoft comes underneath them, but yet they only have a 14% stake in Ubisoft? I don't fully understand how that works.
because your share holding of your ultimate subsidiary, which is Ubisoft, gets diluted the more companies you have in between the holding
Right,
steps.
okay, right.
So, and obviously Ubisoft's base of shareholders is astronomically much larger than, the brothers holding
Yeah,
company.
the Gilmore. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Oh,
Gilmore.
right, okay.
Yeah, so that's why Tencent only have a I mean, they still have a big portion. In fact, I think they're the second biggest shareholder, aren't they? Because I think the Gilmore brothers have maybe it's something like 15-20% of Ubisoft, something like that. They have the majority stake, but it's still quite low relative to the rest of the shareholding. I.e., it's not massively held in a single shareholder. So, but yeah, that's why.
Cool. Whilst we're talking about Tencent, Gina, do you want to talk about that other thing, or do you not want to bother with that?
There was another thing?
Yeah, Chinese entertainment giant accused of wanting that one.
Oh, no.
Do you not want to remember that?
Fantastic, but no, I think we'll skip over that one, bless them.
Fair enough.
I mean, they know what they want for their money. That's all I'll say.
They're not picky. What else have we got to talk about? So Microsoft has confirmed the next wave of titles heading to Xbox Game Pass for console. I do not have the titles at hand, but they are coming. Let's have a look. I'll find it. So this month we've got
What? Chivalry 2.
Yes, Chivalry 2 is stealth dropped, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, coming this month you have costume. I can't talk tonight. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm just tired. Costume Quest, Chivalry 2, which is excellent. Cannot recommend that enough. It's just hilarious. We also have A Plague Tale Requiem, which I'm super looking forward to. The last one was brilliant. We've got Scorn coming. I think that's been pushed forward, isn't it? That's coming a lot sooner than what they thought was coming.
14th of October instead of the 21st.
Nice. We've also got Evil coming. Don't know what that is. That's coming to console and PC. Dyson Sphere Program. Don't know what that is. Looks like a city builder. Could be wrong. The Walking Dead and The Walking Dead Season 2 from Telltale. They're coming to PC though. And also Medieval Dynasty is coming to Xbox Series X and S, which I'm really looking forward to again. I believe that's also a base builder. Looks really good. There are a couple of games leaving Game Pass. So leaving Game Pass this month, we have Bloodroots, Sable, which Jenna highly recommends. He did a review for it. Ring of Pain is also leaving. Never heard of that game. Echo Generation, The Good Life, and Into the Pit. They are all leaving Game Pass this month.
Into the Pit is also a fantastic game. If anyone hasn't played it, check that out. It's really good.
Yeah. Play it before it goes. What else have we got to talk about? So another Xbox Series S and X controller has seemingly leaked. The Lunar Shift pad has a surreal shimmer, and it changes color with light and motion. So that actually sounds really cool. That sounds like a controller I can get behind. I do need to start getting more controllers because apparently I'm an achievement whore again now, and I might need them for future achievements. So.
Be good if they could bring with that sort of thing to the actual design labs. If they, obviously we know the Lunar Shift now is a real controller, but if you could bring them sort of colours to design labs, so you could do your own combination, that'd be absolutely amazing. It's got money maker written all over it, and especially if you could do it on the Elite Series controllers as well, because that comes to design labs. Is it next month? Some point next month, I believe.
Do you want to know what I wish that you could do? I wish that you could go to Design Labs, upload your own PNG image to be printed on it. That would sell like hotcakes, and then you wouldn't
everyone would just have penises.
That's fine though, as long as it's not. As long as it's not. That should be like private between consumer and like Microsoft. So, like, you go there, you upload an image of what you want on the controller, they print it on the controller, boosh. I would be all over that, like a tramp on chips.
Problem is, what would
chips
Pope Art do then?
You what?
You'd be putting Pope Art out of business. That's the problem.
They don't work with him anyway. Poor Pope. He should just be hired, shouldn't he?
They should be working with him.
Yeah, he should be the go-to standard.
Back on, then people like him are out of,
I'll tell you what, man, Pope does amazing controllers. I just wish they were more readily available.
But he doesn't do that as a main thing, though, is it? It works for different advertising companies all over the world, all different products. Like the controller design stuff is more of a side thing that I get the impression of from his Twitter. That's not his main thing that he does.
Yeah.
But he does have his own store, I think, where he pretty much designs all sorts of different... Won't design me a Superman one, though. I asked him, and he won't design me a Superman one.
That's because he's got taste.
Did fucking SpongeBob, but he won't do Superman.
Do you not think that's a killer idea, though, to be able to upload your own image and then have it printed on a controller?
Yeah, it'll be they probably won't do it because of copyright issues and stuff, won't they? They have to check who owns the image each time and shit like that.
Why would that matter, though? Because it's between them and consumer.
It doesn't matter. There's people suing because Randy Orton's tattoo is in there and they did the tattoo and shit, even though the guy's got on his skin and he paid for it because it's in a wrestling game.
Yeah.
Who did the tattoo's like, I own the rights to that tattoo, actually, because I did it.
Did you see that she held it in court for 3 years and only got a $3,000 settlement? I bet that costs more than that to have it fucking in court. I bet all that's gone in legal fees.
Yeah.
So there's literally no fucking point.
The principle of the matter.
Yeah, Disney and Nintendo don't care. They'll come after you, regardless. Nintendo, we just don't give a shit.
Yeah. But you know what? I think we've come to the end of our topics tonight. Unless you guys want to talk about anything.
No. Tomorrow, the embargo for Gotham Knights lifts from the media side. So if anyone's actually interested in that game, I don't think there's many.
I'm really fuck you. I'm really looking forward to that game. I'm looking forward to Aniba dropping the fucking price on it because I don't want to pay more for it for an Argentina code than what I am for a UK one.
1 in a million. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, but yeah, the embargo on the media side lifts tomorrow. So look, I think it'll be about 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon. You'd start seeing reviews, early impressions drop. So
it'd be cool to see what people think of it. Because I've got my reservations about it. The combat looks really clunky.
Does not look great.
But I need another open world game. Can't be any worse than Saints Rogue, right? You what?
You want an open world game? Grand Theft Auto 5. One of the
I've
best open
already
world
completed
games
it
on the
4
planet.
times. I don't want to complete
Have
it
you
again.
completed it on the Series X version?
No, because I'm not paying for the upgrade.
Then you haven't completed it. No, it's not an upgrade. You buy the new game. You buy the game
I
again.
don't want to buy it again. I've already bought it 4
But
times.
it's all new achievements. All new
I
achievements.
don't care. Even I've
All
got
new
fucking some
achievements.
standards. I'm not buying a game
You're
for a
missing out.
4th time.
It's like a brand new. It's a new game. It's different. There's all different things happen.
What's different about it?
I can't tell you. It'll spoil it.
Exactly.
Your wallet's lighter after you buy it.
Yeah.
But then you need to get the PlayStation 5 and buy the PS5 version because that's different as well.
Had the Xbox 360 version. Bought the Xbox One version. Bought the Xbox... the Steam version. Bought the Rockstar version. Yeah, I think I bought it 4 times. Once for my brother as well, to be fair. One
You need to buy it another to make it 5.
I don't want to pay them more money. They've got more money than fucking Jesus. I just don't want to give Rockstar more money. Just out of principle now. Like they've nickel and dimed us too much, and now I just can't.
I need a remaster of the optimized version now. When they revise, do a revision of the consoles, I need another version of GTA 5. I don't need GTA 6.
The milk's more than your mum's titties edition.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much the show, isn't it? Unless there is nothing else you guys want to talk about.
There's a Nintendo. So much a direct thing coming this week for the Mario movie. Can't wait to hear Chris Pratt be Mario.
It's me, a white American.
I mean, Tom Hanks was Geppetto, so why not?
I wish Ash was here to give us his stellar Tom Hanks impression.
It's
uncanny, wasn't it? It's brilliant.
His performance is so bad in that movie. He just doesn't try. He's there like, yeah, I don't care.
Has he reached Robert De Niro status yet? He's literally just taken on fucking anything for work. He doesn't care about his career.
It's blatant that he's acting. It's live action, but everything around him is CGI in the scenes that he's in. He's never on the screen with a real person. So it's blatant. He's just acting. It's surrounded with green figures. It's like watching him try to do theatre on stage. Like, it's just painful. And everyone else is trying in Italian accents. He doesn't give a shit.
Pinocchio wants to be a real boy, though.
He chucks in a half-attempted generic European Eurotrash accent at the end, but the rest of the movie, he hasn't got a fucking accent. He's meant to be Italian.
It would have been more fun if he just did his Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
I love you, Pinocchio.
Jiminy Cricket is fantastic in it, apart from the fact from the first half of the movie I thought it was Matthew McConaughey, and it turns out it's the guy from he's in Inception, he's in that one with Scarlett Johansson where he's addicted to porn, Don John or whatever his name is. He's also
Dom Jolly.
Yeah. He's also, yeah, that's the one. Dom Jolly. A phone. Yeah. Biggest
Hello.
But the guy do a Matthew McConaughey like impression the whole way through the movie to the point where you
I'll tell you what, if you
was he going all right.
Yeah, no, genuinely, like he's speaking like he's got the same huskiness, like you think it's him.
I'll tell you, if you ever
Josh Gordon-Levitt or whatever, it's something like that. That guy, it's him.
Oh, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, yeah.
If you ever find yourself in a party with V2 Timmy and he hasn't got COVID, get him to do his Forrest Gump impression because it is fucking uncanny, proper uncanny. It's so funny. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. He always cracks me up with it. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of tonight's show. Cheers for tuning in, everyone. It's been a bit of a slow news week. Nothing. We're still talking about this fucking merger, this acquisition. Bit bored of it now.
I think we should just refuse to talk about it on the show anymore.
Yeah, it's getting a bit like that, isn't it? Tired of talking about it. It'll be when it bees and all that.
Also, if you tune into this instead of playing Overwatch 2, what's wrong with you?
I know. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'd be playing Overwatch 2 if I wasn't obligated to do this. But yeah, cheers for tuning in, everyone. Luke Steele, let us know where we can find you, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really enjoyed it. Even though Overwatch 2 is now out, I still enjoyed it. I resent it all slightly, but no,
Come here and talk
really enjoyed it.
acquisitions instead of playing
Yeah,
Overwatch
it
2.
instead of playing as Tracer and just killing everything. No, thank you very much for having me.
Oh, no worries.
And you can find me. I'll keep it simple. Just go to Twitter at LukeSill90. Find me there, and then you'll see the other.
Nice. And you can catch us on Twitter here. We're on here all the time. Big shout out to everyone who tuned in to watch. All the guys in chat. You are the ones we do it for. So cheers for keeping chat on fire. But yeah, this is it for now. We've been the Xbox Live Party Podcast UK crew. I've been Redders TV. And yeah, see you next week. All the best.
Live long and prosper.
All that stuff.